Hello everyone, welcome. Welcome to this special session on Descriptive. In another 3 days, you guys would sit for the IBPS PO mains exam. And in that, you would encounter the descriptive writing section 2. So let me share with you 3 very important tips regarding descriptive writing, which is not only going to help the students who have been practicing descriptive writing, but it is also going to help those students who have not practiced descriptive writing enough. Because in this particular session, we are going to talk about the errors students normally commit in PO exams while typing descriptive, while writing descriptive. Okay, so let's start with the first tip. The first tip is regarding generating right content. Now, there are a lot of aspects to the right content part that people normally end up doing wrong, right? Both at the exams and also before the exam, preparing for the exam. So, let's take them one by one. So, the first point in the tip 1 is don't panic about the quantity of the content. Because see, in a 200 words essay or 250 words essay, you do not need a lot of content. In a 150 word letter, you do not need a lot of content. For a 250 word essay, 3 to 4 points, major points around which you would be writing would be more than enough, right? So don't panic about quantity. You don't need to have a lot of content to write in a bank PO essay, right? Now, as I told you that for 200 words essay or 250 words essay, 3 to 4 points would be enough. So for letter writing, even lesser number of points would be enough. Now, for that, for any given topic, and if it is based on your current affairs, for static, obviously you will already have some content ready. But if it is based on your current affairs, then your general awareness studies would help you directly. You have been preparing for your GA section, right? So you would never be lacking content in a particular topic because you are already preparing. Whatever content you get from that is more than enough, right? And to choose which ones you should write on, you can take help of my I get helps technique, right? Those of you who know I get helps technique, you know how effective it is to prioritize your points before writing in descriptive. Also before choosing, right? You have 10 points in your mind on which you can write, but you need to choose 3 to 4, right? So which points to choose, which you'd be more comfortable with, that is helped through the I get helps technique. So use that. And finally, most importantly, a lot of students, even if they are practicing regularly descriptive, they also end up doing this mistake is they start mugging up sample essays. Stop doing it. As a matter of fact, I would say stop looking at sample essays. For bank PO exams, you do not need sample essays because sample essay is like treating this exam like a 10th exam or an 11th exam where you had a set pattern of questions that might have been coming. Nowadays, that is also not there, but still, let's say, assume that there is a set pattern of question that would be coming. You can mug up the answers and write it there, right? That is, first of all, that is not checked in descriptive. Because our idea is not to get a lot of content, and what these sample essays do is to give you a lot of content on one particular topic. You feel happy. You feel happy that I have read sample essay on this. If this topic comes, I will do good in there. But the problem here is that you are always trying to mug up a lot of essays. And when the time comes, even if the common topic comes, you might not remember the points that you have studied in there. So at that point, you'll have to write by yourself, right? So whatever you did of studying sample essays, trying to mark them up, those investment of time did not work out for you. Secondly, there is every chance that you do not get a topic which you have covered in your sample essays. So what would happen? You would end up panicking at that stage, right? So remember this, in bank PO descriptive especially, content is important, but you only need 3 to 4 content points, and that you already have. Rather focus on your writing style, rather focus on your structuring of the body to make the content that is with you more effective, more relevant, more to the point, to the topic. Do those things. That would be more handy for you, right? Okay. Now, the second one, structuring your writing, the way you are writing and avoiding grammar errors. These are the two task, and the tip number 2 is directed towards doing these 2 tasks. Now what we'll do in that, what are the points in that? First, use para breaks. If you know my IBC structuring, introduction, body, conclusion, you know how I suggest you to structure your passage. So the introduction is the place where you introduce the topic and are going to give an indication to the reader that how you are going to structure the body. The body can be structured in 1 or 2 para because it's 200-250 words. Therefore, more than 2 para in body is not needed. It's advised that you have 2 paras, but even 1 para would do if you have less points. Then move on to conclusion, where you summarize what you have discussed and move towards the conclusion if necessary according to the topic. So these para breaks would help the reader to identify the flow of the writing. Second, use short sentences, 10 to 12 words, not more than that. Only 10 to 12 words, okay? Maximum. Don't use 20, 25, 30 words sentences. Why is it so? Because see, what happens the moment you write long sentences, the chances of having errors in those sentences increases. So what did I say? Avoid grammatical errors. Now, how do we avoid grammatical errors? By ensuring that they do not happen at the first place, right? Okay. So using short sentences helps a lot, and adding to that, write in active voice, avoid passive voice. That would also help you in avoiding grammatical errors. Okay, right? Active voice, you understand, right? So the subject, the doer and the verb would be associated directly, and then you would write it. Okay, in any form, use simple sentences, active voice sentences. These 2 things if you can ensure, then you would avoid grammatical errors to a large extent. Okay. The second kind of grammatical error that happens, which is not due to structuring but is due to your lack of understanding of the context, is tense error. Now, tense error is that you are writing in past tense and then suddenly you move to present tense for a particular event which is also in past. So for that, tense errors normally happen because we are not very careful while we are writing. We are not invested in the story, rather than we are trying to remember the facts and figures that are there with that particular context, and that ends up creating a tense error. So, why I asked you to avoid sample essays, one of the reasons is that sample essays makes us push towards remembering those stuff inside the exam, and when we try and do that, we end up creating grammatical errors, especially tense errors happens then, right? So if you stop doing that, then you would automatically ensure that your grammatical errors have come down a lot. Okay, the last point is writing well crafted points and avoiding vocab errors. How do you do that? See, first, encapsulate your essay, especially each one of your points. When I say essay points, it would be encapsulate your essay points. So, how would you write a sentence? So, each sentence, write it in a way of prep or ERP in the body. The body sentences, it's better to write them in prep and ERP model, right? So, how do I write prep and ERP points? Content, for that you can refer to my previous lectures on descriptive on this channel. You'd get an idea. If you had been studying with me, you already know how to write prep ERP content, right? If you are preparing by yourself, then go and watch those previous lectures. The next thing is use simple words. In the last slide, I told you use simple sentences. Now I am going to tell you what is the benefit of using simple words. You see what happens then, a lot of times to impress, we try and use difficult words. Words whose meaning is not much known to us also. We have heard them once or twice being used. We are not very sure about its usage, the places where it can be used. So these are lesser known words for us. Don't use these lesser known difficult words to impress. Use simple words. So point 2 and 3 are connected. Okay. So when you use simple words, you automatically ensure that you do not use those lesser known difficult words. So, you might think that using one of those words will help you get selected or help you get more marks. No, there is nothing like that. These all are myth regarding competitive descriptive writing. You do not get more marks for using difficult words in competitive descriptive writing. No, you get good marks, you get better marks for writing in a well-structured manner, for writing in a manner which is easy to understand, easy to read. These are the things that get more priority in competitive essay writing. Okay, right? So, if you do this, you would be able to write well-crafted points which would be easy to read and understand, and you will also avoid vocabulary errors. Now, even in vocabulary, spelling errors. Why do spelling errors happen? Spelling errors happen because we do not have much of an idea about that particular word, right? So if you use words that you know, then spelling errors would also not happen, right? Okay. So these were the 3 most important tips that you should remember going forward in the next couple of days to the descriptive exam, because these 3 tips can change the way you perform in your exam. Okay, so that will be all. Thank you very much and all the best.